Hey, I'm Dr. Pilet, and today's topic we're going to be doing is called rebuilding relationships. Now, the reason I give you that topic is because most of the folks that come to my program are trying to put one back into good running order. You know, the relationship has had its problems. Now, I kind of think of relationships like automobiles. You get a brand new one, you don't have to do much maintenance, do you? You don't. But then when you get to 20,000 miles and you haven't done an oil change, it starts to make funny noises. And then after a while, when the brakes go out, you got to replace the brakes and do the oil change and all that kind of good stuff. Then you start to say, man, this is an expensive operation. Relationships are the same way. You know, we find that people get divorced more at the 15-year mark than they do at the 5-year mark. Why do you think people get more? Why do you think the divorce rate is higher at 15 years than it would be at 5? Why do you think?
You get tired of each other.
They get tired of each other. That's a good one. Get tired of each other.
Kids are grown.
The what?
Kids are grown.
Yeah, that's it. The kids being in the middle keep both parents happy and occupied. The distraction of getting the kids to school, taking care of them when they're sick. It's the holiday season. Aren't you guys involved in buying Christmas presents, putting trees up, putting decorations? It's for the kids. It's not for the adults, is it? But when those kids leave home, often the parents find that they have nothing in common. And the highest divorce rate, the highest relational breakage rate is when the kids leave home, 15 years old. But I want to talk a little bit about some of this other stuff that has to do with relationships. And when they break up, we've got these terms called dumpers and dumpees. Anybody here ever been a dumper? Where you have left the person, versus a dumpee, where you're the person that kind of got left behind. So we're going to talk a little bit about that in the cycle of healing. What I like people to know is that on its fundamental level, when research is done to look at men and women in relationships, not looking at drugs, not looking at histories of broken relationships. They just do research to try to determine, are men different from women in the way they think? You'd be surprised that it has come up over and over again that they find that men and women think so differently that they can categorize it in two specific areas. And particularly, men like to be validated for what they do, and women like to be validated for how they feel. Now, when you process that and think about it just a little bit, hopefully that can open your mind to some of the big differences that happen when you come home at night. Because think about it. If you've been working all day and you got up at 6 and you left the house at 7 and you come home at 6 and you're tired, most of the guys that I know, they think they should have a hot meal waiting for them. They think the house should be clean, the kids should be, bathed, and homework is all finished. When I come home, I would love to have a hot meal. Well, that's a do, isn't it? I'm home, and this is what I think you should have done for me. But what I typically find is my guys come home, they'll say, I'm home, is dinner ready? And she'll say, oh man, I didn't have a chance to, you didn't cook. Well, it was a busy day. The kids were what? What? The kids were what? Isn't this your job? Isn't your job to take care of the kids? Isn't your job to make a hot? Well, you don't understand. So as the husbands start to pick apart the partner, they pick the partner apart for the things they didn't do. Got it? You didn't finish with the kids. The homework's not done. The clothes aren't done. The laundry's not done. Well, that's all the guy's looking for. Show me some evidence that you did this for me so that when I come home, I feel loved. But women want to be validated for how they feel. And so if you came home and you were to say, I want to appreciate you for being here. Because to be honest with you, if I was home all day with the kids, I don't think I could take it. And by the way, in case any of you guys have ever done this, because I'm Mr. Mom in our household, your brain turns to jello. My brain turns to jello. It's not that I don't love my 6-year-old daughter. I do. And it's not that I don't love my 12-year-old son. I do. But I can only take so much of being a 6-year-old or being a 12-year-old because we get into that, quickly we get into that drill sergeant mode. Do this, do that, stop doing this, stop doing that, quit arguing, quit fighting. It's not enjoyable. It's not fun. I don't like it. I would much rather go to work every day than be home with the kids all day. So when I ask a man to say, can you validate your partner for her being there? Can you say, thank you. Thank you for being here because I know you're here because you came into this relationship, we have these children, and because of your love for me, you're here and I'm not. That's validating feelings and emotions. Yet, we as men, we like to see that validation for what we do, and women, they like to see that validation for how they feel. And I want you to try that. When you get a chance, go home, try it, and see if it doesn't work to some extent, just to say, thank you for being here, because I know you're here because you care about me. Okay? When we look at relationships breaking up, there's always a dumper and a dumpee. There's always someone that's leaving and someone that doesn't want you to leave. I mean, that's sort of fundamentally. And when you look at this idea of dumpers and dumpees, the person that's leaving, that's a dumper, they tend to do better. If you're a secret dumper, that means you're the person that didn't want your partner to know. You were scared that they would tell you no. They were scared that you would try to talk them out of it. They kept it a secret. And in keeping it a secret, you were not prepared for the day that you came home and everything was gone. Has that happened to anybody here? I'm getting a few nods here, but I'm going to be honest with you. The guys that have the hardest time to recover from a breakup are the guys that really didn't expect it, and they went home, and the whole place is empty. And they can't figure it out. I've had some really extreme cases where they were out eating dinner the night before. The next day he comes home, and it's all gone. When a person is left that way, the dumper has secretly aligned their assets, their support network. They had been putting money aside. They've gotten their mail forwarded. In all probability, they told their mom, their dad, their friends that they were going to do this. See, that's the secret dumper. What kind of impact do you think it has on a guy that comes home and everything's gone and didn't know anything about it? What do you think? What kind of impact does it have?
Total disbelief.
Disbelief? Good. What else? Think he's a little numb?
Betrayal.
I feel betrayed? I didn't even know I was doing anything wrong. You know, we didn't even have an argument. It's one thing to have an argument, go home and everything's gone, but we didn't even have an argument. What else? What else you might think?
Rejected.
Absolutely. I feel flawed. I feel there was something wrong with me that was so significant that by your leaving me in this way, I must be so broken, so busted, I'm not even worth talking to. Well, how do you think that impacts your next relationship?
Guarded.
I like that word, guarded. And when you're guarded for your next relationship, what might you do? How might you be different?
Ask a lot of questions.
Ask a lot of questions. Ask questions like, have you ever left anybody? You know, why are you single? You know, where's the last guy? Okay, I'm here, but did this guy get like run over by a train, or did you just happen to decide you wanted something new? There's a trust issue, isn't it? There's a trust issue. And for those of you in the room that know what I'm talking about, the trust issue can be so strong, so deeply seated inside of you, you might find yourself going into a new relationship and not even sensing your own insecurity because this person looks different, this person looks better. But until the situation comes that you have that level of confidence and security, you don't have the sense of insecurity. Does that make sense to you? You don't feel insecure in a relationship that's first beginning because there's nothing to feel secure about. But now you live together, and now in living together, the pattern of your relationship is starting to repeat itself in such a way that one day something happens that reminds you of, oh, wait a second, I was this happy before, and when I went home, she was gone. Well, how do I not know right now you're not planning to leave me? And what we find out is that a lot of people that have these sort of trust issues, they don't have it at the beginning of the relationship. They have it a year or two into the relationship when they start to feel this connection, this heartfelt connection. Now I'm scared. See, now I'm scared. See, while we were dating, I had more control. You could go, you could split. I didn't give a crap. I wasn't scared. Now, though, I'm feeling like this is a real thing. Now I'm scared. And so often in broken relationships, what we find is this dumpy dumper thing doesn't come up until a year or two into the relationship.